The idea of living a slow life has really begun to resonate with men. I think it's a much needed antidote to the hustle culture that we've seen over the last few years. And frankly, everybody's brains are fried by social media and by dopamine, and we all have this urge to slow down and be in the moment. I made a video around 6 months ago in which I shared my thoughts and reflections on living a slower life, and that video did very well. A lot of people enjoyed it. So I thought today I would make a more practical companion in which I'm actually going to share some concrete steps on how you can begin to live a slower life as a man and how it could actually make you more successful. Hello, my name is James, and I am on a mission to create a generation of gentlemen. But first, what exactly do I mean by living a slow life? To live a slow life is to not sit there and watch life pass you by. It is simply to be more present and intentional in how you spend your time. Think of it like driving a car. When you are driving down the freeway or the motorway, you put your foot to the floor, you go at a high speed because you are going in a very straight and clear direction. But there are also times when you are driving when it's necessary and advantageous to slow down. And I would say this is a great analogy for life. There are times when you need to put your foot down, you know exactly what to do and where to go, but there are also times when you have to navigate a more complex situation. And I'm sure you'd agree that life is complex for pretty much everybody. The first practical step I have is actually simply about reducing the noise. A lot of the stress that we put our brains under today is unnecessary and self-inflicted, and it's being inflicted by our phones, by social media, and by the 24-hour news cycle. We are needlessly inundating our brains with information that is not only not valuable to us, but it's in fact destructive. So the first step to living a slow life is to reclaim that space in your brain for your own thoughts, for your own creativity. Turn the phone off as much as you can. At least set it to do not disturb. Perhaps don't have these social media apps on your phone. And I'm saying this as somebody that would benefit from you having an Instagram addiction or a YouTube addiction. But I believe that what we're creating here is something much bigger than simply social media. With this extra time that you will have from not scrolling, from not being consumed by news and social media, you want to make time for reflection. Reflection is an incredibly important of any man's life, because this is when you form the strategies. This is when you come up with the ideas that will shape the future of your life. Every great man has always done this. Every great leader needs time for reflection. Personally, I enjoy cigars because they give me a time for reflection, but you don't need to smoke, obviously. You could simply sit there with a pen and a notebook. You could take a meditative walk, or you can simply watch the sunset, the sunrise, plan out the day, think about your life, create that space in life for your own thoughts. Another trait you'll see in many successful men throughout history is that their lives are a set of routines and rhythms. These help ensure that you are moving your life in the right direction and that you are being intentional with how you spend your time. If a side hustle, if a side business is important to you, you need to make time for that. You need to put it on the calendar. If your children are important to you, you need to set aside time regularly that you spend with them. If we don't carve out this time intentionally, if we expect that it should just happen, or that we're always working, we're always spending time with our kids, we're actually not. We're just there, but we're not truly present. I believe that an important routine and rhythm for a gentleman is how he grooms himself, how he takes care of himself. For me, my morning shave is an incredibly important ritual. For that 5 minutes when I'm lathering up and then using my razor with care, with precision, I am focused and I am setting that intention for the day that I will bring my best version of myself. Now, today's video is sponsored by a company called Caswell Massey that I've been partnered with for quite a long time because they simply make the greatest shaving creams, soaps, fragrances, and a variety of other products that help a man be the best version of himself. And great men throughout history, including George Washington, Dwight Eisenhower, and JFK, have used Caswell Massey products. Whether you are looking for a high-quality fragranced soap, a shave cream, or a great fragrance, whether that's an aftershave or an EDP, I've recently hosted a couple of events for our members club, and so many of the gentlemen who attend these events have told me that they began using Caswell Massey products and they are absolutely loving the shave, they're loving the fragrance, they are loving the soaps. So I want you to try this for yourself if you're not already. We have a discount available for you to use. It is Gentleman's 10, and the link in the description. If you're part of our members club, you are able to access an even further discount. The code is available in our online portal. Something that I think a lot of men struggle to do is to accept our limitations and to set reasonable goals that we can realistically achieve. I would say I'm a very ambitious person, and I'm sure that many of the men watching this are also ambitious. And we can have very grand ideas about what we want to accomplish. We can set very high expectations and we can be very demanding on ourselves. But sometimes this causes us to throw in the towel because we've set the bar too high. We've set unreasonable goals in an unreasonably short time frame. What I prefer to do is to think of life, to think of skills, to think of areas that I'm trying to improve, more like compounding interest in investing, or more like progressive overload in the gym, making small, realistic, incremental improvements all the time in those areas that are important to me, whether that's in business, personal relationships, fitness, or simply things that I enjoy, like playing the guitar, like going traveling. It's very easy to feel like we want to do everything at once, but often this just causes us to feel overwhelmed, burned out, and we end up making no progress. So set those reasonable goals in reasonable time frames and focus on compounding growth in the right direction. Just to take a little sidestep, I think it's really important that we address our biology, our chemistry, and what we put into our bodies as men. To live the slow life, to be clear thinking, to be rational, to be stoic, we have to consider the chemical makeup, the biology of our physical bodies. Almost every man in the West is addicted to some kind of chemical, whether that's something as seemingly benign as caffeine, or it's nicotine, or they are reliant on some kind of prescription drug. Personally, I found that even controlling my caffeine intake will significantly improve my mental clarity. It will improve my mental health. It will help me actually be more focused, because being wired, being overstimulated, caffeine, nicotine, all of these other substances, they are simply not going to help you live the slow life. I'd also encourage you to be mindful of the foods that you put into your body. If you are eating processed food, if you are eating junk food, that is not going to help your brain or your body function at their best. To live the slow life as a man is not to live in self-denial. It's simply to be intentional and to focus on those things that are important. And one thing that I would say is very important for a well-lived life as a man is to make time for quality connections, quality people, and quality experiences. Something that I think is missing in many men's lives today is enough time spent with other like-minded men doing important activities that allow them to share their thoughts, to share what's going on in their world, and to have new experiences that are truly enriching. Our members club is not focused on volume, it's not focused on speed, it's focused on quality. If a man joins and he forms 2 to 5 really solid connections with other gents in his city or his industry, that is what it's all about. It's not about being part of a huge online server or commenting or liking. It's about the real life connection. And that's why I actually send a handwritten welcome note to every single member that joins. I want to set the example as the host of the club. So if you feel like this is something that's missing in your life as a man, you can of course check out our members club. You can also invest in a country club membership, in learning to play golf, in picking up a new hobby that will typically help you form strong male friendships. And of course, in your existing friendships, in your relationship with your girlfriend, your wife, or your children, create those rituals, create those routines. As humans, we are designed to eat together. We should be sitting down at the dinner table with our families, having conversations. We are not meant to be eating hunched over a YouTube video or scoffing down a burger while driving. It's frankly sad what's happened to the way that we eat, the way that we interact with each other. We need to bring back these rituals. We need to bring back these activities. That is how you create a truly fulfilling life. Gentlemen, I hope that this video has been useful to you if you are looking to embrace the slow life, to be more intentional, to be more present. There are many more things that we could get into on this topic, but I think that this will serve as a practical starting point. If you are feeling inspired to embrace better grooming routines, better grooming rituals, and you want the right products to do that with, do check out Casual Massey using the link below. And remember, we do have that discount of Gentleman's 10. And for our members club, an even greater discount is also available. I'll also put the link to check out the members club further down in the description. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.